coaching this generation's real estate superstars.
I remember when I first saw this chart, I thought, oh my gosh, what in the world is that? And the truth is this is what our life's relationship, or a wealthy person's life relationships looks like. Look at number one. The first one, you guys probably have this one nailed. You know how to go get mentors and role models. That's why you're here. Okay? These are the key areas where we might want mentors and role models. Number two, we might not have focused on much, and that's who we determine wealth for. I have to tell you, I've been married to my husband 26 years. I have a fabulous husband, and truly am blessed for that decision, and probably none of it had to do with me. But the truth is, besides him, the other most important decision I've ever made in my life about relationship is who I chose to determine wealth for. And 15 years ago, I didn't even know it mattered. Quite honestly, I worked for nice people because they had a nice company. But the truth is, whoever you're sending money to has an agenda and a plan, and it either has something to do with you succeeding and getting your agenda and plan, or it doesn't. Okay? The third one is your love relationships. That's your spouse, your kids, your parents, your siblings, your relatives, your friends. And then number four is what I keep talking about, and I had 5 zeros. I had no one. I didn't know what to put. I kept thinking, oh, you mean my assistant? Can I put my assistant? No, my assistant was not in charge of any entity that would send me a stream of money. Now, in a minute, I'm going to tell you my wealth determiners and how much money they actually send. But on day one, when I saw this chart, I had no idea what they were talking about, and I certainly had no idea how to have any. And so these are people, it's a stronger, more key relationship. These are people that are very talented people that would succeed whether they're with you or without you. But because you created a phenomenal vehicle, they see your vehicle as a way to get their needs met, and so therefore they're kind of pushing you along. And because they're going to succeed anyway, when you help them reach their goals, you automatically hit yours. And I understand a lot of this probably won't make a bit of sense to you, but that's okay. You're going to be introduced to it. You're going to start thinking about it. You're going to start wondering about it, and you're going to start doing something to have this show up in your life. Some of you will. So, and then the next one is your top 25, what we call allied resources. And those would be people that are in your business, that know you and love you and would probably always do business with you, or would be in some kind of relationship with you, but they're not in key roles where what they do actually sends money your way necessarily. And I say in the real estate business, you never need more than 5 to 15, and you probably currently have them already, but you're not paying attention to them. When we went back and identified our key, I think we went back and identified 15, there was 5 that really stood out. Now those 5, we have a deeper relationship. We now do investments with those people. We now do a deeper, more contributing relationship than we used to have with them. So you're going to have anywhere from 15 to 25 key allied resources that are in your business and your life. And all I'd encourage you to do is go back and try to figure out who those people are, and maybe see how you can enhance that relationship. Remember, if you do what Jeffrey Gittimore says, you'll just find out who they are, go put a meeting with them, and the whole point of the meeting is to find out what you can do for them. Don't worry about anything else. Just go find out what you can do for them. Okay? And the truth is, you need people more than they need you. No one ever achieves their true maximum potential alone. And once you kind of hear this concept, or what I started doing is I started thinking about, I thought, well, let me see if I can figure out who Bill Gates' 5 to 7 are, and Warren Buffett's 5 to 7. And when you really study wealthy people, they really do, they don't do the work do. And quite honestly, I worked with John, and I know you guys know John Alexander. I worked with him last year. And probably one of the key things that he said to me the whole year was, you know what, Linda, wealthy people don't get paid for what they do. They get paid for what they think. And what's the problem with most of us? I wake up in the morning and still, even with all this training, what's my first thought out of my head is, what do I need to do? And really, what should the first question be? What does someone else need to do? Because it's not about me doing. Me doing is only going to get me so far. It's going to have me hit a ceiling, and I'm going to stop right there. So the key is not what can I do, but who can do it. Wealthy people get paid for what they think, not for what they do.